Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Going the Distance. This is episode 23. Can you believe we've done 23 episodes? And I know episode 22 was just a few days ago, but as you guys remember, we were going to introduce a new segment next week. But since we have the finals in the NBA set up, I figured go ahead, do a show, get you guys introduced to this new segment called the King's Corner. So we're going to jump into it. We got some sports news, music news, and the King's Corner. So right now we're going to do the new segment. So King, the floor is yours, buddy.
Thank you, Pete. And as Pete mentioned, I'm King James, and I'm here to bring a little pop culture point of view to this show, because while there's a lot that goes on in sports and in music, there's also a lot that goes on in the world of pop culture that we think you guys might find interesting. So I'm here to help. And man, you picked a good week to introduce this segment, as we've had a lot drop. To start with, we've had new shows on the major networks, that being Fox specifically. They busted out a new show called The Quiz with Balls. I'll tell you something, it's not exactly what you think. It's a combination of Family Feud and Wipeout. And I'll tell you why. You have 5 family members competing in a trivia battle, but every time you get an answer wrong, you lose a family member, and it's basically last team standing wins and gets to play for 100,000.
Okay, so I'm sorry to interrupt you, James. Where do you think the name came from?
Well, it's done by the same producers who brought us shows like Big Brother and The Force, so they probably thought of it.
Okay.
But since we're talking about it, I'll give you a sample question, and I know this one will work because it wasn't used on the show.
Okay.
So I can't get in trouble for this. But here's an example. We have 5 family members competing, and we have 6 answers to start with. So the question might say, for example, if the category was movies, the question might say, which of these were titles of movies in the Star Wars franchise? And your choices would probably be something like The Phantom Menace, The Last Jedi, The Force Awakens, The Wrath of Khan, The Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi.
So they would want to know what the Star Trek one would be.
No, they're trying to find all the correct answers and not stand under the one that has the wrong answer, because if they do, the family member who's standing under the wrong answer gets dropped.
Okay.
And I mean literally dropped in the pool.
Okay.
But the twist is, every time you get a wrong answer, you have the risk of coming across another wrong answer later in the game, because the less family members you have, the more wrong answers you face with your question.
That makes sense.
So that's just an example. And then, at the end of the game, the last remaining family, or the one that's banked the most money, gets a chance to fight for $100,000. But to get there, one family member has to find all the right answers by themselves, one by one.
Huh.
One mistake, and they're done.
Wow.
So it's quite an interesting little twist.
So it's already premiered?
Yes, it premiered this past Tuesday alongside the new season of Beat Shazam. And by the way, Jamie Foxx is back as host of Beat Shazam this year, and he looks better than ever.
I'm sure, after all the things he went through last year.
And the most shocking thing to me is we still don't know exactly what kept him out last season, but he's back.
Well, he had that medical issue last year.
True, but we don't we were never told what it was.
Right.
So that's the interesting part. But nonetheless, the new show, The Quiz with Balls, will air alongside Beat Shazam this summer. So it airs Tuesdays at 9 p.m. on Fox. So make sure you guys check it out. And also, you and I have touched on this one before, but another big thing we're watching this season is Race to Survive New Zealand.
Yep.
Some of you may remember Race to Survive Alaska from last year. It's basically a survival-style competition where 9 teams of elite athletes try to traverse the wilderness in an attempt to win $500,000, but they have to survive a combination of grueling endurance races and nights in the wilderness fending for themselves. But this year, there's a new twist, because this year, the contestants are not given any rations. So instead of actually being given food, they have to try to find it on the race course, and then they have to decide, do they risk starvation or elimination? So that's an interesting little wrinkle there. But Race to Survive New Zealand airs Monday night, immediately following Monday Night Raw on the USA Network this summer, so make sure you check that out. And in addition, I can tell you guys that starting next week, the new season of American Ninja Warrior begins. And this year is going to be interesting because this year, for the first time ever, we have a reigning champion who's looking to go back-to-back.
Oh, wow.
And this year is quite interesting because the reigning champion is a young man by the name of Vance Walker, who is only 19. But it's interesting because, like myself, Vance has cerebral palsy. And for those of you who don't know what cerebral palsy is, it's basically a movement disorder that impacts your ability to work your legs. So he has to do stretches and other things daily just to let himself move. But he was able to win the $1 million last year, and he's going for it again this year.
Well, that's
what happens.
That's inspirational.
But you said it. I was as shocked as anybody else when he won the big one last year and conquered all 4 stages.
And what's his name?
His name is Vance Walker.
Vance Walker. Okay.
If you look him up online, you'll probably see his runs from last season. So it's pretty easy to find. But American Ninja Warrior, their new season begins Monday on NBC. So make sure you guys check that out. And I'll have more pop culture news for you in the weeks to come. But, Pete, as always, it's a pleasure helping you out.
I appreciate it, King. We'll have you back next week or the week after when you're ready, and we'll do this again, buddy.
Absolutely. Thrilled to do it.
Thank you, buddy.
No problem.
Have a good day.
You too.
All right, y'all. So that was the new segment. I hope y'all enjoyed it. The King's Corner. Go check out his pop culture shows. Race to Survive is a good one. I've seen a couple episodes of that. American Ninja Warrior is another good one. And check out his new show about the game show that he talked about. So go check him out. Okay, so as we covered last week, Scotty Scheffler, I said his charges were not going to be dropped for the incident that happened a few weeks ago. Well, it was reported that the charges were dropped because not enough evidence was out to charge him with anything. So he gets off scot-free. So what do y'all think? Did y'all watch the video? Do you think it should have happened? Not? What's y'all's thoughts? I seem to think it was just an innocent thing, and there was really no big deal. It was just they made a mountain out of a molehill almost. So that's good for him. It was also reported that the Houston Texans have signed their second-year wide receiver Nico Collins to a 3-year, $72.5 million deal. Let me just confirm he's year 2. Because if I remember right, he was the big playmaker for C.J. Stroud last year. And they did great things. So I'm sorry. It's their 3rd-year starter. He's entering his 3rd year, Nico Collins. So Nico Collins agrees to a 3-year, $72 million deal. He was drafted by the Houston Texans in 2021, round 3, pick 89. So, they've got him locked up, which I think is great. So, if you ask me who my pick for breakout team is, last year I said Detroit. This year I'm saying Houston because Nico Collins, C.J. Stroud, Stephon Diggs, and then you've got the second-year head coach, so they ought to be set. So it also was reported that in racing, we didn't have a race between the last show and this show, but it was reported that a race team is closing down after the end of this season. It's Stewart Haas Racing, and it's part owned by Tony Stewart. They announced that they're closing their doors at the end of the 2004 season. So their drivers are going to be looking for a new race team. And I can't believe it. I mean, Stewart Haas is going out of business. That's something I never thought I would see. I'm trying to see who their drivers are. But, I mean, what's going on? Why is Stewart Haas closing their doors? I can't, for the life of me, figure out what's going on. Are there other... we'll figure it out. When more things come, it looks like Eric Amarola was on their team, and he's the only one that it looks like is still racing. So he'll be looking for a new team, but as more things come out about it, I'll let you guys know. I'm sorry I wasn't really prepared for that segment, but so on we've got a couple scores going on. So in hockey, we've still got the final 4 teams are still playing. We have on Wednesday we had the Oilers defeat the Stars 5-2 to tie the series at 2. And then on Thursday we had the Panthers defeat the Rangers 3-2 for the Rangers to lead the series 3-2. So as y'all may have as y'all know, if y'all have been keeping up with the show, I think the Stars are going to make it to the finals, and I kind of think the Florida Panthers are going to make it too. So, both series are looking good. Both teams are looking good, and Friday night we have Game 4 of the Stars Oilers in Dallas. So if everything's looking right, the Stars have 2 more games before they make it to the finals. And the Panthers or the Rangers have just one more game and they beat the Panthers. But I think the Panthers are going to come back, win the next 2 games. I think the Stars are going to win the next 2 games and take that lead too. So I will keep you guys updated next week on the score for that game. And one of the reasons I wanted to go ahead and do the show, not only for the new segment I wanted to give you guys a feel for, but we know who's going to the NBA Finals this year. We already know Boston's going, and they're my pick to win it all this year. And I need to make a correction. Boston did not go last year; they went the year before. Miami actually beat Boston to make it to the finals last year, but Boston still had a good team, so they've made it to the finals this year, and I think can take it all. But they're playing the Dallas Mavericks because the Mavericks defeated the Timberwolves 124-103. Kyrie Irving had 36 points and Luka had 36 points. So the Mavs won that series 4-1. So now it's going to be Boston and Dallas in the NBA Finals starting next Thursday. So y'all check that out because it's definitely going to be a good one. This is going to be a good series, y'all. I mean, I've seen highlights from Dallas and I've been watching Boston all year. So this is going to be a heck of a series. I think it might go into 6 games, and I think Boston takes it in 6. It'd be great if they took it to a game 7, but I think 6 games is all they need. So I had y'all's so that was all the only score I had for the NBA. So now we're going to move into some NASCAR. And they're racing in St. Louis this week. I don't have the lineup yet because obviously they haven't run a race since the last show, but they're racing in St. Louis this week. So check that out Sunday afternoon. And the What We're Listening To segment is going to be Gavin Degraw, y'all. He's 47 years old from New York. He started singing in 1998. He's had 7 studio albums. He's had 1 live album. He's had 20 singles. And the first song I ever heard from him was I Don't Want to Be. And I heard it on the radio. And then several years later, sorry y'all, I don't know what got in my throat there. And then several years later, I was watching One Tree Hill. And I heard the song, and I'm like, I recognize that song. What is the song, and who sings it? So I pulled it up, and it was Gavin Degraw. So the song we're listening to this week is I Don't Want to Be. But he's got other great songs, like Not Over You, like Chariot. He's got a song called, he's just got a number of songs. I believe the song is Believe. Yes, Believe. He's got a song called Sweeter, Soldier, all of them. So go check out Gavin Degraw. Go make sure y'all watch the finals on Thursday. I think my next show is going to be probably Thursday. So check it. We'll have golf scores. We'll have NASCAR scores. We'll have the United Football League scores. And just remember, as the King alluded to this earlier in the show, don't let anything stop you. Look at Vance Walker. He's got cerebral palsy, and he won American Ninja Warrior. He didn't let that stop him. He pushed through, and he did what he thought was hard. Like I said last week, we don't do things because they're easy. We do them because they're hard. And the harder things make for better results. Vance Walker has cerebral palsy, won American Ninja Warrior. He didn't let his cerebral palsy get to him. So I want to thank you guys. I know this was a short show this week. There wasn't a lot in the last couple of days, but I wanted to give you guys a segment to I wanted to give you guys the King's Corner and see what y'all thought. So I want to thank you guys for joining me this week. I hope you guys have a great weekend. I want to thank the King for joining us this week. We'll definitely have you on again, buddy. And just follow your dreams, y'all. Have a good weekend and God bless.